Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Hey guys, today is Tuesday, December 3rd, and the energies in the day adds up and reduce to number 5 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. When it comes to the spirit guidance for today, we have the snake. I haven't seen the snake in a long time, but the snake comes out in the reversal position. And I'm a fan of this card because whenever I see this card, like I always see this as like the universe. And when I see the snake, I think of embodying all of the knowledge and the wisdom that's present and how we all have access to it. In the reversal position though, it brings me to being detached from the wisdom, the knowledge. In the reversal position, it brings me to say one person looking to another person to be their eyes, to be their guide. It brings me to the thought of having a middleman when it comes to our connection with the creator. In the reversal position brings me to people buying into other people's programs or way of being to say that you're not powerful enough and you need to get under me. And from this process of whatever, I'll teach you how to be, or not even teach you, but you got to get under me because I'm the head. It just brings me to giving our power away. It brings me to being disconnected from source. And I personally believe that we disconnect from source based on the stories that are told, that we buy into, that we resonate with. So with the snake in the reversal position, yeah, it brings me to disconnection from source, from that basket, that abundance of energy that we all have access to. Like when I think of the mind, I think of it as this huge swimming pool that we are all sitting in, and we think that our minds are separate from each other, but we have access to the same information. Like based on my experience as an empath and the dreams that I have and being able to feel things and experience things, I don't feel like anything is private. I don't think anything is private. I feel like a person who is trained and experienced can access another person's thoughts because from being trained to do so, from trusting their intuition and being trained to do so. Hence why it's important to learn how to meditate to the point where we can clear our minds so we can control what someone has access to by keeping the mind clear. I don't believe anything is private. Because we're all one, we're all connected. I think of like two conjoint twins where they have one body, but they share two heads. I feel like all of us are like that to a certain extent. We're connected. But as I'm speaking now, I think of certain people who have higher knowledge and have abilities or ways to shield themselves from getting access by others. To shield themselves from getting access by others. I think of how once when I lived in this place, and I think the owner had the ability to remote view, whether consciously or unconsciously. Meaning I'll be sitting in my space and I'll observe like the energy of the person, like accessing the space, but it's like, it's interesting. Like, I'll observe the inner, so it's like, say I'm sitting right here and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, and say I'm speaking to you guys. So in the process of me speaking to you, my attention is focused on a thing. So now my mind becomes an open channel and other information is able to come through. I'm able to pick up on other things because I'm not in my head and I'm just flowing and speaking to you. And, you know, I might be sitting around doing something and then I'll observe the person's presence come in where they might not intentionally, or they might intentionally mean to come in and check on the space, or check, or they're thinking, because I feel like some of us are so powerful to where we can think about something so much to where we project ourselves into the environment and don't even realize that we remote viewed or remotely projected ourselves into the environment. And I feel like in this space, I feel like that's exactly what happened. I had reported some concern about something that was happening in the space, and noticing the person's energy there, going straight to the thing where I feel like they were thinking about the concern so much to where they unconsciously projected themselves into the space. I know it's wild, but those of you who probably have had an experience, you get it. In the past, when I first learned of my ability to tap into things, I used to go nosing around, checking on friends and family. You know, I remember laying there in my meditation and going to check on a friend and see her sitting in her living room, listening to music and crying. And I called her and I'm like, I was doing a meditation and I saw you listening to R&B music and crying. And she was like, B, get the F out of my, like, she doesn't, like, she always be like, Kat, you're a sorcerer. I don't think that. I feel like we all have the ability to tap into energy. I don't do that anymore though. I remember after living somewhere and felt a curiosity about a neighbor and thought about them, and something said, don't. Where I feel like a person who's new to that aspect of themselves can find themselves going into places and then go and pick up things that they probably didn't mean to pick up. I think of like, it's like someone getting an energetic STD type of vibe. You go and you went and nosed into that person's head, into their auric field, and whatever they got going on in their auric field latched onto you. Part of it latched onto you, and now it's a part of you. And if you don't know it's a part of you, it could create issues in your world before recognizing it's a part of you. It's like me doing a reading once in the past and someone's father coming through. And when the father came through, I spoke to them on what came through with the father energy coming through. But then after, I noticed that I had these cravings and these desires that I did not have before. It was the wildest thing. And I did a session with the person again, and they spoke more on their father. And I realized that the desires that I had was because that energy was still within my auric field, expressing itself through my auric field, causing me to have those desires to keep it alive within my field. Shortly after I recognized that the energy was around me before having the session with her again. And the way how I clear my space is I close my eyes and I imagine there's this white light that starts building from my heart space. And I imagine it grows, and then it explodes like an atom bomb and completely clears my space of everything, whether it's like my ancestors or whoever. Is like everybody gets out, like it's a clear space, so then people could, you know, the energies could come back in. But I went on that long ass rant to say we all have access to this web of knowledge, information. Like I said, I think we're all connected. I don't think anything is private. Yes, I believe there are people that are more like advanced and they probably know how to do things, because there's this unconscious fear that I've had when I told you that I was nosy about a neighbor and something said, don't go over there. It's like this feeling like you might go in a place and not just pick up something, but maybe I got like from a movie or something, you know, go there and get stuck. How? I don't know. Like go there and they get a hold of your energy. The way how I'm imagining it is like, say someone putting out a Wi-Fi signal that anybody could access, but then when you access the Wi-Fi signal, they're able to access you. And that's something that I also notice, where whenever a person latches onto my energy because they're thinking about me, they make themselves available for me to go into them also, if that makes sense. We're in the process of us nosing into a person, they're able to nosy into us. So we leave ourselves open when we go into a situation. This is wild. It's not wild. I think about it all the time, but I don't talk about it much because I feel like I'm inching my way out of the broom closet, out of the spiritual closet. When it comes to the tarot, we have the Queen of Cups, and she comes out in the reversal position. So when it comes to today's energy brings me to some kind of block. And I feel like when it comes to the block in today's energy though, the day is the 3rd, and the energies in the day adds up and reduce to number 5 vibration. Both the number 3 and 5 expresses its psychic, intuitive nature in different ways. Where with the number 3, it's more of an imagination type of way of perceiving intuition and things to that. Where the number 5 is more of a clear audience. I heard that. It's like maybe it's in your own voice or whatever. You heard something, and from hearing that thing, you just know. But with the Queen of Cups and the Snake card in the reversal position, it brings me to maybe the signal isn't clear. Maybe there's doubt when it comes to whatever it is that you're hearing, or doubt when it comes to what you're perceiving. Also too, when it comes to these energies in today, you know, the moon is in Capricorn, and the moon, our inner world, is in a space where we're nurtured by responsibility, legacy, ambition in the practical side of reality. I like that it's positively aspecting Saturn and Pisces though, because Saturn and Pisces, speaking to the moon in Capricorn, is helping us to see how we could pursue goals that are in alignment with our truth, with our inner child, and not necessarily what society wants for us. But with the moon in Capricorn, the moon is in an earthy place. And with the moon in that earthy place, we could be so practical to where we dismiss the spiritual side of things. So with the day adding up and reducing to the number 5 vibration and being the 3rd, when I first got to today, I kind of laughed to myself, because today is one of those days, if you don't have a to-do list or a checklist, today is one of those days where things could just be all over the damn place. Go from one extreme to the next. You started the day with a certain intention, and the day ended nothing got done the way how you planned for it to get done. Or the day it reminds me of one of those days being younger and going to school, you know, planned out to go to school, get halfway to school, and then decide to skip school. Like today's one of those days, like I had full intentions to get to school, but somewhere in between, getting to school and, you know, I got to school but didn't get in the front door, or got to school, took the first class, and then someone encouraged me to skip. Maybe it was my little brother. But, you know, that's what I'm getting when it comes to today's energy. It's like you started it one way and it doesn't go as you started it, because there are a lot of distractions. But I feel like when it comes to today's distractions, the distractions with the moon in Capricorn could have everything to do with wanting to take some of the pressure off. Because I feel like moon in Capricorn, some of the challenging moons I think are moon in Capricorn, moon in Scorpio, moon in Aquarius. If I was to say the top 3 challenging moon, those are what I would say. Moon in Capricorn, pressure. This pressure that we put on ourselves that may have even came from our family, but there's this pressure to take on, it's like the pressure to put everybody on your back, the pressure to create generational wealth, the pressure to change your family's life, the pressure to retire your family, the pressure to do well, to prove to your mother, your father, your family that, you know, you could do that, you know, prove to them that you could do great things. There's that pressure. Moon in Aquarius, pressure comes from emotions going from one extreme to the next. Pressure comes from, for some, having a hard time feeling your emotions. Is not that you don't feel your feelings, but instead thinking about them. So from thinking about them, I think of a dog chasing their tail. So a person could find themselves often experiencing anxiety, or just like, I think of like mental strain, like just feeling mentally overwhelmed or drained. I think of like the mom being absent or not seeing you, only seeing you when you're sick, or only seeing you when you're sick or when you're in trouble type of vibe, or the family feeling invisible with that moon. And then the moon in Scorpio, the inner world is in a place where there is this paranoia and this strong urge to take control over one's world, this strong urge or this fear of losing control over our world, losing control over our situation, just, you know, just an opportunity for shadow work. But yeah, when it comes to where the moon is, I feel with today's energy, we're trying to distract ourselves from the pressure of our inner world. And the pressure of our inner world could feel like, I'm at this age and I don't have this, that, or the next. And society and life says that by this age, things are supposed to look this way, and it doesn't look that way for me. And a stress like that with the moon in Capricorn will cause us to want to escape reality. You know, you start the day off one way, and before you know it, you done called out or done smoked some weed before you went to work when you're not supposed to, or done took a shot on your lunch break, and it's like, what the hell am I doing? It's the pressure of delivering, the pressure of being somebody is what I would say with the moon energy where it is, you know, feeling all this, pressure. Or money, thinking about one's financial situation, financial status, and it creates a disconnect. Like the fear and the stories that are going on in the mind creates this disconnect. And it's like, I needed a drink. I needed a smoke. This brownie, this ice cream. It's like trying to, the pressure, it feels like it's exploding, and it's like something gotta pop it. And that escaping helps to pop it. Where today is one of those days where we find ourselves busy with everything and absolutely nothing at all. Today is one of those days also, I think of a person wanting to start something, but is coming from a place of lack or fear. So I think of how we're conditioned to have to work hard to make things happen. So today is one of those days where we'll feel like, say if you're in a career or a business where the way how the work is distributed is not how you're used to, coming from a traditional, say, workforce, corporate environment, or just work world. And today could be one of those energies where it's like, because you're not as busy as you used to be, there's this overwhelming energy that feels like I'm behind. I need to do something. Today's energy brings me to there's this need to do something. And from the need to do something, we stop feeling. We stop tapping into our intuition and that access that we have to the abundance of knowledge and just the abundance of everything. The connection to everything feels like there's a disconnection from that connection. And instead, what's causing the disconnection from the connection, like I said, is escapism. It's just escapism. With today's energy adding up and reducing to number 5, a vibration, and it being the 3rd, there's big emphasis on communication today. Big emphasis on communication. Someone could find themselves not saying exactly what they mean to say. And you have to remind yourself that you can't tell the truth and avoid offending at the same time. And most of us who like to communicate in a diplomatic way, which there's a time to be diplomatic when it comes to our communication, But a lot of us recovering people pleasers always communicate in a way to make sure everybody else gets to hear what they need to hear. But then the person who's doing the communicating never feels heard or understood. And that's because we hold ourselves, or the communicator holds themselves responsible for the other person, or whoever they're speaking to holds themselves responsible for their emotions and how they feel. And from that, you try to communicate in a way to avoid conflict. But when it's all said and done, you're only brewing up a lot of conflict and resentment in yourself, as over time, you might feel justified to resent a person because they never hear me, they never listen. But you're not communicating, but you're not truly and honestly communicating. Things are coming out of your mouth, but you're not expressing what you really have to say, is something that could stand out today with some people. So it's important for us to realize that you can't offend and tell the truth at the same time. And most importantly, you're not responsible for other people's emotional state. And like I said in a past video, I think it was the video on the 29th, the 28th, or the 30th, whenever you find yourself around a bunch of energy vampires, it's not about them. It's what are you doing that holds a space for them? How are you holding spaces for energy vampires? And we hold space for energy vampires by making ourselves responsible for their emotional state. So when we hold ourselves responsible for their emotional state, we go out of our way to make them feel better. And that's where they get to latch on and feed on your energy. Hey guys, I want to share with you 7 benefits of getting a numerology natal chart awareness coaching session. The first one is understanding your internal programming. The second one is becoming more clear about your purpose and passion. The third is setting goals for success. The fourth is awareness of strength and areas of improvement. And the fourth one was foundational for me, because whenever you're aware of your weaknesses, no one can use them against you. And when you're aware of your strengths, that makes you unstoppable. And that is why I say self-awareness is a superpower. The fifth benefit is removing obstacles. We first have to become aware of a thing in order to remove it in the first place. The sixth benefit is understanding relationship dynamics. We don't have to change the people in our lives. We have to become aware of ourselves and start from there, and everything changes. And the seventh benefit is upcoming transits, if that's something that you would like to look into because you're planning for something or you just want to be aware. So if you're interested in booking a numerology natal chart awareness coaching session or learning more about it, the link to book or the link to send me an email for questions are both within the description box below. If you'd like to check out my Patreon where I share exclusive content, the link to check out what's happening on Patreon is in the description box below. It was a pleasure sharing this message with you. Before you go anywhere, please let me know you're here with me by dropping me a blue heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.